welcome to a beautiful new edition, second edition of Healthy, Fit, and Strong. We are here at Sunny Rose Ranch. Once again, we have been welcomed back by our most wonderful host, Chris Barrio, who brought us here to Sunny Rose so that we can do some more beekeeping. Now, instead of rescuing swarms of bees today, Chris, tell us what we're going to be doing.
We're harvesting honey and we're going to be extracting honey. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the honey supers off of the hives, and then we're going to take them down to the extraction room, cut off the wax cappings, and spin out the honey, basically process it to go into food grade buckets, and then eventually bottled and sold.
How often would you say that you harvest the honey?
I harvest honey here twice a year.
When?
Once right now in the spring, and then again in the fall.
Wonderful. Bethel Park TV, you are in for quite a treat today. We're going to suit up. You ready, Chris?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
The Bee Team in action!
What are we going to do today, Chris?
Okay, so we're going to harvest honey out of these top 3 honey supers. These 3 boxes up here on the top, you can see them. 1, 2, and 3. See the little handle? Each one of these is a box that's called a honey super. And in these honey supers are 10 frames of honey that the bees have harvested or have foraged and is filled up each one of these boxes, which is called a honey super, with honey. So we're going to take these boxes off here and bring them back down to the extraction room and spin the honey out of them. So the first thing we have to do is get the bees out of this box.
Okay.
And the way we're going to do that is a method called a fume board.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to take this off, and this is a fume board. It's going to sit right on top just like that, but we're going to spray this felt on the inside with it's called Honey Bandit, and it's a spray that smells like almonds.
I smelled it. It's very, very fragrant. Essence of almond.
Essence of almonds, which the bees do not like that smell.
Interesting.
And what's going to happen is the bees that are in this box, this honey super, are going to lower themselves into the next box, or as far down as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna take the majority of the bees out of here, so we can take this box right off the top, load it up onto the Ranger, and then
Nice.
take it down to the
All right.
extraction room. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let's pop the top off of this first.
Is it sealed with the honeycomb? Is that what it
It's
is?
sealed with what's called propolis and wax.
Look at that. That's so wild.
So if you look here, you can see bits of burr comb and wax and propolis that the bees use to kind of secure their or seal up their entryways or any little cracks in the hive.
Remember, viewers, bees are our friends.
If you look, you can see each one of these frames in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spray this at all of the corners and in throughout.
This is a thick felt-like substance.
And if you want to just set that right on top.
Face down?
Yeah, face down.
All right, here we come, bees. Whatever.
Let's give this a check to see. Okay. So it looks like they went down.
Smell it.
So now
Just 1 or 2 little stragglers.
Yep.
Looks like everybody else got out of Dodge.
so you can see now
Oh, look at that.
there are not many honeybees left inside there. Maybe a few, like a straggler or 2. So what I'll do is I'll take this, put it on the wagon, and I'll put a cover over it so bees do not go back in. We're going to do the same thing with this one.
Now on top of this one, it looks like some juicy honeycombs.
That's right. Yeah, you have a little bit
looks
of burr
delicious.
comb and some of the honey. And this is what we're using. It's something called Honey Bandit, which is an almond smelling spray, food grade, and the bees don't like the smell. It's driving
I
them
took
down.
a whiff of it, and it's really strong. It's almonds on steroids.
That's a good way to put it.
So I noticed that the bees are flocking to the one crate that we've removed. And you say that the bees are communicating. How do they communicate?
The bees communicate multiple different ways. One of the most interesting ways I've found that bees communicate is through what's called a waggle dance. And a waggle dance is where the bee will move her back abdomen in like a waggle shape, like waggle, and then she'll move in a figure-8 pattern. And what that does is lets the other bees know coordinates to things like nectar sources, water, another shelter, or maybe even where their honey just got taken to.
And I know there's a video of that online on your Facebook page where you can watch her waggle.
Yes, that's right.
Now, would you say that's the essence of bee twerking?
That's a good way to put it. That's right.
So there you go. You can watch a bee twerk online at Chris's Facebook page.
And it's on my Instagram page too. So yeah,
Yes.
That's an interesting thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
What's even more interesting is that it's dark in there while they're doing it, and they're able to pick up on that.
Can they see in the dark?
Yeah.
Bees can see in the dark?
Yeah.
So
Very
do they recognize colors?
Gray. No, they just see gray.
So they can't see colors, but they can see in the dark.
Yes.
And how good's their vision in the dark?
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Good enough to see her do her dance?
Yeah.
All right, very good. And what about the sound that a bee makes? Are there different sounds, or is it just a straight buzz?
Straight buzz. Sometimes it becomes more high-pitched. Sometimes the queen can make a little higher pitched sound.
Does it go faster or slower depending upon danger?
Yeah, sometimes
Because I heard it speed up when I put my little ear next to it when they were moving down.
Yeah.
It went from a buzz to a buzz.
Yeah, to some type of alert of the other
Right.
bees, and then it drops them down.
Mm-hmm. Take a peek.
Yeah, let's give it let's give this one a lift.
Mm-hmm. Now, were they eating the honey?
They are?
It's in their bellies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could see them with their little, is it tentacles?
That's right.
With their little
Yeah, and
tentacles
their
going
legs.
to town. Mm-hmm.
And the little red thing that's stuck out is the honey tongue. It's like a straw.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah. I noticed that some of them have long bodies, and there's one or two with like a round body. That one looks like it's rounder.
Yeah, no, that's the same. It's
Okay.
still a female bee. I mean,
Okay.
every one of them is shaped maybe a little different.
Yeah.
But the ones that are noticeably different would be the drones, which I don't see any of them up here because of the
Now, I'm looking
excluder.
really close. Chris, it appears that the top part of their body, and I don't know the name of it, is actually furry.
They are, yeah.
What
yeah.
do they do with the fur part? And I'm going to point to the it's the black part right underneath the head. Pardon me for not knowing what it's called, but it looks like it has little strands of hair on it. Do we know what those hairs or furs?
The hairs actually, what happens is the pollen will cling to that, and this is how pollination happens. The pollen will cling to their little very fine hairs on their body, and then they'll fly to another.
And that's how pollination is done?
Yes, that's right.
So I see that there's this black thing sticking out, Chris, and you mentioned that it's called a queen excluder. Can you tell us what a queen excluder is and what it does?
That's right. So the queen excluder is put onto the hive to keep the queen bee out of the honey supers, which are everything above here. These larger boxes are what they refer to as either deep supers or brood chambers, and this is where the queen stays and lays her eggs, and new bees are born every day. Sometimes the queen will make her way up into the honey super and start laying eggs as well.
Oh.
So,
And that's bad. Why?
well, you don't want the queen to lay eggs up here in in the honey supers because this is the surplus honey.
Right, that's what we want to harvest, and we don't want to hurt any babies.
That's right. So what we'll do is if I see activity up here, which means there might be eggs or there might be some capped brood from the queen being up here, is that I'll find her, put her back down into the brood chamber, and then I'll put this queen excluder on. So it has, if you can see, it has these little spaces in here, which will not allow the queen to get through here.
Right.
But all of the other bees.
It's like a small grate.
Right.
Like a sewer grate.
That's right. Now I have it on here not so straight. The likelihood of her passing through one of the corners is
right.
Kind of slim.
So Chris, I see that the bees are, and correct me if I'm using the wrong terminology, swarming around us, or are they flying around
They're
us?
just flying around.
They're just flying around us. Would this be considered a swarm or a beard?
No, this is a beard.
And what exactly is a beard?
It's when the bees, when the inside of the hive is hot, they'll come out
to cool off.
To cool off. They'll sit out here. It's a little cooler than it is inside the hive, and they just kind of work their way up to the circles. And if you look behind us, you can see some of the other hives are doing it as well.
Am I permitted to touch the bees, or should they not be bothered?
You can
They're
touch
doing
them.
their bee business.
Touch them. They'll just, you know, they'll just likely fall into your hands.
Look at that, guys. How cool is that?
They're just doing their thing.
They are. They're just doing their thing. I want to give them each a little kiss and thank them for the honey that they provide us. So Chris, it looks like you've asked me to put on a pair of nitrile gloves. Can you explain to the viewers why?
Yeah, it's just part of the sanitary precautions that we take when we're dealing with a food product. Honey's a food product, so we want to obviously be as sterilized as we can when handling any kind of food product.
That's right. Now, what kind of honey are we going to be harvesting here today?
So we're harvesting a spring flower mix. There's black locust in here. There's probably some clover. Some of the early dandelion. It's a wildflower. It's a spring variety.
Flower mix.
And it's the lighter variety of honey.
Oh yeah, lighter in color. I love it. Okay.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our hive tool, which we can pry out a frame. And that right there is a frame of capped honey. And once the honey is capped, it's ripe for harvest, considered ripe for harvest.
So if I took my finger, I would actually be able to push the honey out. It's real gooey, it's real soft.
Scrape down here, you can see the honey is right below there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to cut these wax cappings off into this, what they call a cappings tank.
How thick would you say this wax cap is going to be?
The wax cap is very thin. It's probably going to be 1/8 of an inch.
1/8 of an inch, okay.
Yeah, 1/8 of an inch. And this one isn't built up too far off to the side, so what we're going to do is take a serrated bread knife. That's what I like to use in order to take these cappings off.
All right.
I'm going to stand over here.
Okay.
And then you just kind of lightly go up and it'll fall right into the tank, and you let it just, and what will happen is the wax and the honey will separate and the wax will stay up top. The excess honey will fall down into this bottom tank here, and then we can strain it.
So this is like a colander underneath of here, almost like a grate of types. And the honey is actually seeping down while the wax stays on top of the surface.
That's right. See, on this one, it's not built up far enough, so what we'll do is get this other tool called a capping scratcher. Amy, if you want to hand it to me, it's that red tool right on there.
I thought this was a dog comb.
Oh.
No?
No, this is another, if you just scrape the caps like that, you can expose the honey. So any high spots or low spots here, we'll just scratch just like that. And then what happens is we'll take this frame of spring honey and place it into this machine right here. This is a radial honey extractor, and it holds 18 frames. The frames get placed inside just like that.
So it's like a grid. They're placed in their individual places like a dishwasher.
That's right. And we'll fill this up with 18 of these, and then we'll close it, and then we'll turn it on, and it'll spin. And through centrifugal force, that will allow that honey to come out of those honeycombs. And then it will fall down to the bottom of the tank, and then we will open the gate valve, and then we'll go through one colander right here with a screen mesh in order to filter out larger pieces of wax, maybe some bee parts that are left in the honey, and just the large stuff here.
So for the viewers at home, centrifugal force is when something spins to a certain degree of quickness and then it's pushed to the side. Much like a carnival ride where you're pushed up against the side of the carnival ride and you're actually held up to the side. So it's going to spin the honey quickly and it's going to push it out to the side and then just drip down to the bottom. So Chris, the name of this is called?
A hive tool.
Hive tool.
Yes.
And I'm going to take the larger edge.
That's right.
And I'm going to take it in and I'm going to pry it.
And you're going to pry it out.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh.
Same with the other.
Yes. Okay. So I'm essentially just loosening it.
That's right. And then you're going to put the bottom of it on top of this nail.
Like that?
Like that, so you can spin it. You'll
Yes.
have the ability to
Oh, clever.
turn.
So I'm going to take this
The serrated,
butter knife,
this serrated bread knife.
serrated
And
bread
you
knife.
want to start at the bottom and go up. And then the cappings will drip into the bottom of this tank. And any low spots, we'll use our uncapping scratcher and get that way.
Look at that.
And then you'll just wipe the bread knife or the serrated bread knife right
On the wood part?
On the wood part, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what you want to do is spin the frame around and do the other side.
Yes.
You just spin it around. There you go.
Look at that. Goodness. You're making me hungry, Chris.
You know the feeling.
Yummy.
Same thing, just scrape off the wax on
Yep.
this. And then you'll take your uncapping scratcher
Okay.
and just scratch the spots.
Up to down, or it doesn't
Yeah,
matter?
it doesn't matter.
Getting it nice and loose.
There you go. There you go. That's good. You don't have to do this. The parts that the uncapping scratcher is just for the parts that you weren't able to cut open.
I understand. Spin it or use
Yeah,
the
just
knife.
spin it because we have.
So we're
some-
loosening it so the
Yeah.
centrifugal force.
Right. So
can
just
better-
just get the white areas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. So it breaks those combs open, and you can a little bit up here, a little
Yes.
more up here. There you go.
You need me to put some muscle into
There
it.
you go.
There you go. And put it in.
And then we'll just bring it right over and put it right
All
beside
right.
the other frame.
With the big part out, I see.
Yep.
Juicy.
There you go. And it should fit right in there.
Yes. No?
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
I love it. So Chris, what is it that you do with all this bees capping wax?
So once I'm done with the harvest here, I will take this wax and all of the bits of honey that are still left will fall down here. The wax will become dry of the honey, and then I will clean the wax with water to get all the honey out of it. And then I melt it down and clean it further, and then I use it to make candles or lip balms or just sell the beeswax as it is. Okay, so we're going to close this cover. Turn the switch. start off slow, and then we're going to increase the speed every few minutes. There's a lot of weight in here with the honey.
Interesting. So every couple of minutes you make it a little bit faster.
That's right.
Would you say this process is called spinning the honey?
Spinning. Yep.
Spinning the honey.
Honey, extracting honey. You'll see the honey start to fill up in the bottom.
Oh, I see the honey starting to fill up in the bottom.
You can see along the sides here that it's coming off. It'll eventually fall down into the bottom and fill the bottom up. You'll see it slowly come up.
So, of the 18 frames of honey that we got, how much would you say in the bottom of this container?
I'm not going to fill it up. I never fill it up completely. After a few minutes, I never let it get past the axle there. What I do is
how many inches of honey would you say is going to be in there?
I'll probably have 2 to 3 inches in the bottom.
2 to 3 inches of honey.
In the bottom,
and the weight of that would be how heavy?
The weight is about a super and a half, probably 70 pounds, 80 pounds of honey.
This is not going to be 70 pounds of honey.
It'll be
70 pounds of honey in here?
It'll be about 70 pounds of honey once this is fully extracted.
I thought you were going to say 7. No, I thought you were going to say 1 or 2.
No, it'll fill.
3 maybe.
This bucket will be filled up after this is totally done spinning.
I am flabbergasted.
If you look down in there, you'll see the honey starting to come up a little bit. You can kind of see it creeping up a little bit. Can you see?
Wow, so 70.
Yeah, there's a lot of weight here.
Wow, dude.
So what I'm going to do, you can probably smell.
Love it. Smells so good.
So what I'm going to do now is starting to fill at the bottom. I'm going to open the gate valve down here, and you're going to see the honey start to come out.
Wow. And then this sipons out the last little bit of wax so that only the honey goes to the bottom.
Right.
And you see the light color of the wildflower honey too. It's yellowish or light in color.
I'll just continue to let it drain out, and then eventually that bucket will fill up, and then.
Is that a 10-gallon bucket?
The 5-gallon bucket.
5-gallon bucket.
And that's 60 pounds. One bucket filled up is 60 pounds of honey.
Wow. So Chris, here we are, also in your basement, but a different room of it,
Yes.
which looks like a mini store, like a little supply closet, if you will, of some of your products.
That's right.
Would you mind going over some of the products with us?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what it is that you sell and where you sell them.
So here at my house, people who just come to the door to pick up honey, I have several different varieties of honey. The first one here is spun honey. People also refer to it as creamed honey, or in Europe they call it set honey, which it's a honey that's been crystallized, ground down smooth, and then it becomes like a spread similar to peanut butter or butter, where you can spread it on toast or muffins, and it will never crystallize any different than that. That one is infused with dried organic blueberry powder.
Yum.
This is a wildflower variety of honey.
And this will be what we did today.
This is probably a little later.
It looks a little darker.
It's a little darker, yeah. This is a little darker. What we did today is probably a little lighter, more in this variety. And this is a springtime honey, very light, very polyfloral, nice smelling, as you were able to tell. And then this right here is a fall honey. This is Japanese knotweed, very dark. It's also very light in flavor, but very sweet and very, very good. Also a monofloral.
And each of these honeys has their own flavor. and taste to it.
That's right. That's right. These are the primary honey varieties from our local area here.
And talk to us about what this is.
so-
It's a collaboration, yes?
This is a wildflower honey that is a collaboration between myself and the V&V Kitchen. So I take wildflower honey to them, and they infuse it with dried chilies and habanero peppers, and it becomes spicy. And it's excellent on things like pizza, fried chicken, salmon. People use it on ice cream. Great on food as it's a very good condiment.
That gives me so many great ideas. And then we also have some lovely products. Let's go over some of these.
Okay, so this right here is beeswax hand salve. This is Australian Melaleuca, which it is a very nice feel on your skin for dryness, cracked skin, or just moisturizing in general. And then these are just blocks of beeswax sold to people who want to make their own hand salves or soaps or even lip balms, which I also make beeswax lip balms. And again, I have several different flavors: vanilla, huckleberry, lemon, and root beer.
And how do you infuse them with the flavors?
I use essential oils. Yeah. And then these are beeswax candles, several different types.
So you have molds that you actually melt
Melt the
wax
beeswax
into?
down, and then I thread the wick through. These are unfinished. I still have to trim the wicks, but yeah, these are beeswax candles. They burn very nice.
This reminds me of your logo.
Yeah, it's the concentric hex of the honeybee.
That's a beautiful,
Thank
beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Chris, thank you so much for welcoming us into your home once again.
Yes,
and for going over all of the processes of the harvesting, of the processing, of the extracting of the honey. I hope the viewers at home were able to take something away from this show, how it is that you do the things that you do, and when you buy the honey in the store, how it's processed. It's been a blessing to meet with you once again.
Likewise.
Thank you for meeting with us.
Thank you.
From Bethel Park TV, Healthy, Fit, and Strong, my name's Amy Taylor. Make sure you look Chris and his Sunny Rose Ranch products up. Local farmers markets, local restaurants, or give him a call. His number's on his Facebook, Instagram, or he has a webpage. From all of us here, thank you so much for joining us.